The standoff held for 3 heartbeats. Then Marcus made a gesture, and his council wolves stepped back. Very well. We'll withdraw for now. But this isn't over, girl. The council doesn't forget threats. Neither do I. Ava held his gaze. And I remember exactly what you did to my family. Marcus's jaw tightened. He shifted his attention to Liam, who was struggling to his feet, blood matting his dark fur. You've chosen your side, son. Don't expect to be welcomed back to Silvermoon. I stopped expecting anything from you years ago, Liam said quietly, his wolf form limping toward the other injured fighters. The council alphas retreated with military precision, their wolves following in tight formation. But Marcus paused at the doorway, looking back at Ava. Your mother said the same thing once, he said. That she'd remember. That she'd make us pay. His expression was unreadable. She died screaming in a burning den, clutching your infant sister's body. Remember that, when you're planning your revenge. The words hit like silver through the heart. Ava had a sister. A baby sister who died in the massacre. Before she could respond, Marcus was gone, and the compound fell into shocked silence. Then chaos erupted, wolves rushing to tend the wounded, others securing the perimeter, Nora shouting orders to salvage what they could from the damaged building. Ava stood frozen, her mind replaying Marcus's words. Your infant sister. She'd had family. Real family. And they were all dead because. Ava. Ethan's hands on her shoulders, warm and grounding. Sweetheart, you need to shift back. You're still in wolf form. She looked down, startled to find golden paws instead of feet. The shift back came easier this time, muscle memory already adapting to her newfound power. Someone Maya, she realized with shock, draped a blanket around her shoulders. You came, Ava breathed, seeing her best friend's familiar face among the nightshade wolves. Of course I came. Maya's eyes were fierce. You think I'd let you face the council without backup? I've been working with Ethan's pack for the past week, coordinating resistance efforts. But Silvermoon, if they find out you helped. Let them find out. Maya's chin lifted. I'm done being afraid of what wolves like Marcus think. My mother died being ashamed of who she loved. I won't make the same mistake. Ava pulled her into a fierce hug, this friend who'd risked everything for her. Around them, the wounded were being tended to. Liam sat against a wall, allowing a nightshade healer to clean his wounds. His silver eyes found Ava's across the room, and something passed between them, understanding, forgiveness, closure. We need to talk. Nora approached, looking exhausted but grimly satisfied. What you did back there, commanding the council alphas to kneel, that shouldn't have been possible. I know. Ava's hand found the pendant at her throat, still warm from the power it had channeled. I don't understand it either. I do. An elderly wolf stepped forward, someone Ava didn't recognize. She was tiny, wizened with age, but her eyes held ancient knowledge. May I? She gestured to the pendant. Ava nodded, and the old wolf studied it closely without touching. This is a lunar pendant, she said finally. One of 3 created by the original lunar crest Alpha over 1,000 years ago. It doesn't just symbolize your bloodline, it amplifies it. Every Alpha who wore this could command wolves regardless of pack affiliation. That's why the council wanted Lunar Crest destroyed, Ethan said, understanding dawning. Not because of some political threat, because your pack could override their authority completely. Exactly. The old wolf's smile was grim. The council's power is based on a hierarchy 12 alphas ruling through dominance and territorial control. But Lunar Crest didn't play by those rules. They believed in unity, in wolves choosing their leaders rather than submitting to strength alone. My mother was trying to change the system, Ava realized. She was trying to destroy it. Nora's voice held a note of respect. She wanted to dissolve the council entirely, let packs govern themselves, create alliances based on cooperation instead of fear. And for that, they murdered her. The anger that surged through Ava felt different now, cleaner, more focused. Not the wild grief of the past weeks, but cold determination. They murdered all of them. Not all. The elderly wolf touched Ava's hand gently. You survived. And now you have a choice: use that pendant's power to build what your mother envisioned, or use it for revenge. Before Ava could respond, Liam approached. He'd shifted back to human form, dressed in borrowed clothes that didn't quite fit. The wounds across his ribs were bandaged, but he moved carefully. I need to talk to you, he said to Ava. Both of you, he added, nodding to Ethan. Ethan's expression went carefully neutral, but he didn't object when Ava gestured for Liam to continue. Marcus wasn't lying about one thing, Liam said. The council won't let this go. They'll regroup, bring more wolves, and attack with everything they have. You humiliated them today, made them kneel in front of witnesses. They can't allow that to stand. So we prepare for war, Ethan said flatly. Or we give them what they actually want. Liam looked at Ava. Me? What? Think about it. I'm the one who challenged Marcus. I'm the one who defied a direct order from a council alpha. If I turn myself in, claim this was all my idea, that I manipulated you into helping me out of some misguided love, they might accept that. They'll kill you, Ava said. Probably. Liam's smile was sad. But it would buy you time. Time to build alliances, gather strength, prepare for the real fight. No. The word came from Ethan, surprisingly. No sacrificial martyrs. We've lost enough wolves to the council's tyranny. We're not handing them another one. Liam's eyebrows rose. You're defending me? I'm defending the principle. Ethan's amber eyes were hard. You were an ass to Ava for 3 years, broke her heart, and made 1,000 wrong choices. But today you were willing to die for her. That counts for something. The two alphas stared at each other, some wordless communication passing between them. Besides, Ethan continued, a slight smile tugging at his lips, if anyone's going to kick your ass for hurting my mate, it's going to be me. I'm not letting the council rob me of that satisfaction. Despite everything, Ava laughed. The sound startled her, she hadn't expected to feel anything close to joy in the middle of this nightmare. You're both insane, she said. It's an alpha thing, Maya offered from where she was helping tend the wounded. They're all crazy. You get used to it. Says the woman who just committed treason against her home pack, Liam shot back, but there was no heat in it. Maya shrugged. Like I said. You get used to it. The moment of levity faded as Nora approached with a map. If we're not doing the martyr thing, and I agree we shouldn't, then we need a real plan. The council will be back within 48 hours, and next time they'll bring an army. Then we build one too. Ava looked around at the wolves gathered, Nightshade fighters, Nora's rebels, even a few Silvermoon wolves who'd followed Maya. How many packs are unhappy with council rule? Most of them, the elderly wolf said. But they're too afraid to speak up. The council has made examples of dissenters for centuries. Then we give them a reason to stop being afraid. Ava's hand closed around the pendant. We show them that the council can be challenged. That they're not invincible. A demonstration, Ethan said thoughtfully. Something public, impossible to ignore. The Alpha Gathering, Liam said suddenly. It's in 2 weeks, every pack in North America sends representatives. The council uses it to reinforce their authority, make proclamations, remind everyone who's in charge. What if we crashed their party? Maya's eyes gleamed. Showed up with proof of what they did to Lunar Crest, challenged them in front of every pack leader on the continent? They'd never allow it, Nora argued. Security at the gathering is impenetrable. Not if we had inside help. All eyes turned to Liam. He straightened under their scrutiny. I'm still technically Alpha of Silvermoon until my father formally strips me of the title. That means I have access to the gathering as a council family member. You'd be walking into a trap, Ava said. We'd all be walking into a trap. Liam's expression was resolute. But it might be the only way to end this without centuries of guerrilla warfare that gets thousands of wolves killed. Silence fell as everyone processed the suggestion. It's risky, Ethan said finally. But it might work. If we could get proof of the Lunar Crest massacre in front of enough witnesses, the council couldn't just execute everyone who saw it. I have proof. The elderly wolf spoke up. I was there that night. And I've kept evidence, photographs, documents, testimony from wolves who've since died but left records. Her eyes met Ava's. I was your mother's advisor. I escaped because I was out of territory when the attack happened. I've been gathering evidence ever since, waiting for someone worthy of the Lunar Crest name to claim it. Why didn't you come forward before? Nora demanded. Because no one would have believed me. One old wolf against the entire council? She shook her head. But a Lunar Crest heir with Alpha command, witnesses from multiple packs, and irrefutable proof? That might actually work. Ava looked around at the faces watching her. Maya, fierce and loyal. Nora, hardened by guilt but fighting for redemption. Liam, finally standing for something instead of hiding behind duty. The elderly wolf whose name she didn't even know yet, carrying 20 years of evidence. And Ethan. Her mate, her anchor, her future. His amber eyes held absolute trust. We do it, Ava said. We go to the gathering, expose the council, and give every pack a choice, keep living under tyrants, or fight for something better. You realize this could get us all killed, Nora said. Then we die fighting for something that matters. Ava's voice was steady. My mother tried to change this system peacefully, and they murdered her for it. I won't make the same mistake. But I won't let her death be meaningless either. She pulled the pendant over her head, holding it up so the light caught the ancient symbols. This represents everything Lunar Crest stood for: unity, choice, freedom from tyranny. If we're going to challenge the council, we do it the right way. We build alliances, gather proof, and give wolves the truth they've been denied. And if they still choose the council? Liam asked quietly. Then at least they chose. Ava met his eyes. At least it wasn't forced on them through fear and manipulation. Ethan moved to stand beside her, his hand finding hers. The Nightshade Pack stands with you. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Silvermoon rebels too, Maya added, gesturing to the dozen or so wolves who'd followed her. We're done being ashamed of doing the right thing. One by one, the others pledged their support. Even wolves Ava didn't know, fighters who'd come with Nora or survived the compound attack, stepped forward to declare themselves. In the ruins of what was supposed to be a safe haven, surrounded by the wounded and the determined, Ava felt something shift inside her. She wasn't the scared orphan hiding her strength anymore. Wasn't the rejected mate nursing a broken heart. Wasn't even just a survivor of the Lunar Crest massacre. She was Alpha. Maybe not of a traditional pack, but of this coalition of rebels and outcasts and wolves brave enough to demand better. We have 2 weeks to prepare, she said, her voice carrying Alpha command that made everyone stand a little straighter. 2 weeks to gather evidence, plan our approach, and build alliances with sympathetic packs. 2 weeks to get ready for the fight of our lives. And after? Someone asked. Ava looked at Ethan, then at Liam, then at all the wolves who'd chosen to stand with her. After, we rebuild. We create the world my mother dreamed of, where strength doesn't equal tyranny, where packs protect each other instead of competing, where wolves like Maya don't have to be ashamed of who they love. She paused. We make sure no other 6-year-old wakes up alone, wondering why everyone they loved is dead. The vow hung in the air like a promise. "Then let's get to work," Nora said. As the group dispersed to begin preparations, Ethan pulled Ava aside. They found a quiet corner in what was left of the compound, away from the organized chaos. "Are you okay?" he asked, cupping her face in his hands. "I don't know." Ava leaned into his touch. "I just learned I had a baby sister who died before I could even remember her. I'm planning to walk into a gathering of the wolves who murdered my family. And somehow I'm supposed to convince the entire continent to overturn a power structure that's existed for centuries. When you put it that way, it does sound slightly insane." Ethan's smile was soft. "But you're forgetting something." "What?" "You're not doing it alone." He pressed his forehead to hers, their bond pulsing warm and strong between them. "You have me. You have Maya, Nora, even Liam. You have an entire movement of wolves who are tired of living in fear. That doesn't make it less terrifying." "No," Ethan agreed. "But it makes it possible." "And Ava?" He pulled back just enough to meet her eyes. "When I saw Marcus's wolves take you, when I thought I might lose you before we'd even had a chance, I realized something." "What?" "I don't care about the council, or pack politics, or any of it. I care about you. About the future we could build together." His thumb traced her cheekbone. "So whatever happens at that gathering, whatever comes next, I'm with you. Not because you're Lunar Crest, or because the moon goddess made us mates. But because you're the strongest, bravest, most incredible woman I've ever met, and I choose you. Every single day, I'll keep choosing you." Tears burned at the back of Ava's eyes. "I choose you too." The kiss that followed was different from their others, deeper, more certain, filled with promises of a future they'd fight for together. When they finally broke apart, both were breathless. "Come on," Ethan said, taking her hand. "We have a rebellion to plan and a council to overthrow. Just another Tuesday." Ava laughed, letting him lead her back toward the others. Somewhere in Silvermoon territory, Marcus was planning his next move. The council was regrouping, preparing for war. Charlotte was probably reporting everything she'd seen. But here, in the ruins of Nora's compound, surrounded by wolves who'd chosen defiance over safety, Ava felt hope for the first time in weeks. Not hope that everything would be easy. Not hope that they'd survive without loss. But hope that they were fighting for something real. Something worth the risk. And with Ethan at her side, Maya at her back, and her mother's legacy burning in her chest, Ava was finally ready to claim her birthright. Not as a victim. Not as a pawn in the council's games. But as Alpha. As Lunar Crest. As the wolf who would either change everything or die trying. The Alpha gathering took place in a massive amphitheater carved into the mountains of Colorado, neutral territory that belonged to no single pack. Ava had never seen so many wolves in one place. Hundreds of them, representing every pack in North America, filled the stone seats in a sea of faces. At the center, on an elevated platform, sat the 12 council alphas. Marcus Silvermoon held the position of honor, his silver eyes scanning the crowd with the confidence of absolute authority. He hadn't seen her yet. None of them had. "Ready?" Ethan's voice was low, meant only for her ears. He stood beside her in the shadows beneath the amphitheater, dressed in formal alpha regalia, all black with the nightshade insignia embroidered in silver. He looked dangerous, powerful, every inch the alpha he was. "No," Ava admitted. "But let's do it anyway." She wore her mother's pendant openly now, the silver gleaming against the deep blue dress Maya had helped her choose. It was simple, elegant, and, according to the elderly wolf, whose name was June, the exact color Elena Moonshadow had worn to her first alpha gathering 30 years ago. Behind them waited their forces. Not an army, they couldn't match the council's military might. But wolves from a dozen different packs who'd answered Ava's call. Rebels, outcasts, and those brave enough to demand change. Liam was with them, though he'd stay hidden until the right moment. The plan required precision, timing, and a level of trust Ava still wasn't entirely sure she possessed. "The council is about to make their opening address," June whispered, consulting her watch. "Once Marcus starts speaking, he won't be able to stop without losing face. That's when you move." Ava nodded, her heart hammering against her ribs. Through the mate bond, she felt Ethan's steady presence, calm, certain, absolutely unshakable in his belief that they could pull this off. She drew strength from that. Marcus rose, and the amphitheater fell silent. His voice carried easily across the space, amplified by the natural acoustics. "Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the 347th Alpha Gathering," he began. "For centuries, this council has maintained order, prevented chaos, and ensured our species' survival. Today, we gather once again to reaffirm our commitment to..." Ava stepped into the light. The effect was instantaneous. Conversations died mid-sentence. Wolves turned to stare. And on the platform, Marcus's words cut off as if someone had physically choked him. She walked down the center aisle with Ethan at her side, her mother's pendant blazing in the afternoon sun. Every eye tracked her movement. Some wolves gasped, the older ones, who remembered Elena Moonshadow and saw her daughter's resemblance. Others simply looked confused. But Marcus knew. She saw recognition flash across his face, followed by fury. "This gathering is for recognized alphas only," he said, his voice hard. "You have no right to be here." "Don't I?" Ava reached the center of the amphitheater, standing in full view of everyone. "I am Ava Moonshadow, daughter of Elena Moonshadow and Richard Nightbrook, last surviving heir of the Lunar Crest Pack. I have every right to be here." Shocked murmurs rippled through the crowd. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. "Lunar Crest is extinct," another council alpha, a woman with cold gray eyes, said flatly. "Destroyed 20 years ago for crimes against pack law." "Murdered," Ava corrected. 20 years ago, the council orchestrated the massacre of every man, woman, and child in Lunar Crest territory. Not for crimes. Not for justice. But because my mother dared to challenge your authority. These are lies, Marcus snarled. Lunar Crest was given a fair trial. Where? Ava's voice rang out. Show me the trial records. Show me the evidence of their crimes. Show me anything that justifies murdering an entire pack in their sleep. Silence. You can't, Ava continued, addressing the assembled wolves rather than the council. Because there was no trial. No evidence. No justice. Just 12 alphas who decided one pack had grown too powerful and needed to be eliminated. How dare you, Marcus started. But Ava raised her hand, and the pendant flared with power. Her alpha command rippled outward, not forcing submission but demanding to be heard. I dare because I have proof, she said. June Riversong, please come forward. The elderly wolf emerged from the shadows, carrying a leather satchel. She moved slowly but with dignity, climbing the steps to stand beside Ava. I was Elena Moonshadow's senior advisor, June said, her voice surprisingly strong. I witnessed the council's planning, saw the strike teams being assembled, heard Marcus Silvermoon himself give the order to leave no survivors. She opened the satchel, pulling out photographs. These are images from the aftermath. Burned dens. Bodies of children who never had a chance to defend themselves. Evidence that was supposed to be destroyed but that I preserved. She began distributing the photographs to nearby wolves. Ava watched their expressions shift from skepticism to horror as they saw the truth. This proves nothing, the gray-eyed council alpha said. Photographs can be faked. Then explain this. Liam stepped into view, and the crowd gasped again. I am Liam Silvermoon, heir to the Silvermoon Pack and son of Council Alpha Marcus Silvermoon. And I testify that everything Ava says is true. Marcus's face went white, then red with rage. You betray your own father? I stand for the truth. Liam's voice never wavered. I've spent the past 2 weeks reviewing Silvermoon archives. I found the original orders, Father. The ones where you wrote, make it look like a rogue attack, and ensure the child doesn't survive. He held up documents. Your handwriting. Your seal. Your crimes. The amphitheater erupted in chaos. Wolves shouting, demanding answers, some calling for order while others called for justice. Marcus rose to his full height, power rolling off him in waves. Enough. The command forced most wolves to their knees. But not Ava. She stood straight, the pendant glowing brighter, matching his power with her own. You want to challenge me, girl? Marcus's eyes blazed. You think you can stand against the council? I don't have to stand against all of them. Ava's gaze swept across the 12 alphas. I only need to prove that you don't deserve to lead. That your authority is built on murder and fear, not strength or wisdom. Then prove it. Marcus descended from the platform. Face me. Here, now, in front of everyone. If you win, we'll hear your accusations. If you lose, his smile was vicious. You die, and we finish what we started 20 years ago. It was the challenge Ava had been expecting. The one June had warned her about. Don't, Ethan growled low. This is what he wants. A chance to kill you legally. I know. Ava touched his hand briefly. But it's also our chance to show everyone that the council can be beaten. Ava. Trust me. She met his amber eyes. I need you to trust me. The moment stretched. Then Ethan stepped back, his expression torn between pride and terror. Ava turned to face Marcus. I accept your challenge. But when I win, I want more than just a hearing. I want the council dissolved. I want pack leaders to govern themselves. I want the system my mother died fighting for. Agreed. Marcus's certainty was absolute. He thought he couldn't lose. And when you lose, Lunar Crest dies with you. Forever. They shifted simultaneously. Ava's golden wolf faced Marcus's massive silver-gray form. He was bigger, more experienced, had decades of alpha dominance backing every move. But Ava had something he didn't. Something the council had tried to destroy but never quite managed. Hope. Marcus attacked first, using his superior size to try to overwhelm her. Ava dodged, faster than she'd ever been, the pendant's power flowing through her like liquid fire. She couldn't match his strength directly. But she could be smarter. Marcus lunged again. This time Ava didn't dodge, she dropped low, sliding beneath his strike, her teeth finding the tendon in his back leg. Not a killing blow, but painful. Debilitating. Marcus howled, spinning to retaliate. His claws caught her shoulder, sending blood spraying. The pain was intense, but Ava used it, let it fuel her determination. Around them, the amphitheater had gone silent. Every wolf watched, barely breathing. The fight continued, brutal, savage, neither giving ground. Marcus fought with cold calculation, trying to wear her down. Ava fought with everything she'd learned in her life, every time she'd been underestimated, every moment she'd survived by being clever instead of strong. Then Marcus made a mistake. He overextended on a strike, leaving his throat exposed for just a second. Ava took it. Her jaws closed around his throat, not hard enough to kill, but enough to force submission. Enough to prove she could yield. Her wolf snarled through their connection. Marcus's eyes went wide with shock. Then, impossibly, he smiled around her mouthful of his fur. And bit down on a capsule hidden in his cheek. Poison flooded into Ava's mouth, wolfsbane mixed with something darker, more lethal. She jerked back instinctively, but it was too late. The toxin was already spreading through her system. No! Ethan's voice carried across the amphitheater, raw with anguish. Ava shifted back to human form, collapsing to her knees. The world spun, her vision darkening at the edges. You cheated, she gasped. I survived. Marcus shifted back too, blood running from the wounds on his throat and leg. That's all that matters. The council always. He stopped. Looked down. Ava's hand was pressed against his chest, right over his heart. And the pendant, no longer around her neck but clutched in her palm, was glowing white-hot. You're right, Ava whispered. Survival is all that matters. But see, the thing about lunar crest magic? She smiled, even as the poison burned through her veins. It's not just about commanding wolves. It's about bonds. Connections. Pack. The pendant's light exploded outward, not harmful but revealing. And in that light, every wolf in the amphitheater could suddenly see something they'd never noticed before. Threads. Glowing threads connecting Marcus to dozens of wolves throughout the crowd. Wolves who wore his pack insignia. Wolves who'd sworn loyalty to Silvermoon. But also threads, dark, corrupted ones, connecting him to wolves from other packs. Wolves who shouldn't have been under his control. You've been using dark magic to control other pack members, Ava said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Binding them to your will without their consent. How many of these wolves thought they were making free choices, when really you were pulling their strings? Horror rippled through the crowd as wolves recognized the dark threads attached to them. Some screamed, trying to tear them away. Others just stared in shock. That's why you destroyed Lunar Crest, Ava continued, her voice getting weaker but her determination absolute. Because our magic could reveal yours. Could show everyone what you really are. Lies, Marcus snarled, but his voice lacked conviction. Then why are there threads connecting you to 6 of the other council alphas? Ava gestured, and sure enough, dark bonds ran from Marcus to half the council. You're not their equal. You're their controller. The revelation shattered any remaining support Marcus had. Council members who'd been under his influence suddenly realized it, their faces shifting from confusion to rage. Pack leaders who'd thought they were making their own decisions saw the manipulation clearly. This is impossible, Marcus breathed. You shouldn't be able to, the poison should have killed you by now. It is killing me. Ava could feel it, the toxin shutting down her organs one by one. But I don't need to survive. I just need everyone to see the truth. Ava, no. Ethan was fighting his way through the crowd, but wolves blocked his path, not maliciously, just too shocked to move. The pendant, June called out. Ava, use the full power. It can purge the poison, but you have to. If I use it to save myself, I can't maintain the revelation spell, Ava cut her off. Her vision was going dark around the edges. Everyone needs to see this. They need to know what the council really is. Then let me help. Liam was suddenly there, kneeling beside her. The bond we had, it's severed, but the scar remains. Use it. Channel the pendant's power through me. It'll kill you, Ava whispered. Maybe. Liam's smile was gentle. But at least it'll be for something that matters. He took her hand, and Ava felt the old bond scar flare to life. Not the mate connection, that was gone forever, but something else. The memory of what they'd been. The potential they'd wasted. She poured power into it. The pendant's light intensified, spreading further, revealing more. Not just Marcus's corruption but the entire network of control the council had built. Threads upon threads, connecting alphas to wolves who'd never consented, revealing decades of manipulation and abuse of power. And then, something unexpected happened. The threads didn't just reveal the council's crimes. They began to glow with new light, clean, pure, the color of moonlight. And where they touched wolves who'd been controlled, those wolves felt the bonds shatter. Freedom. Choice. Agency restored. All across the amphitheater, wolves began to shift. Not to attack, but in celebration. Howling their relief, their joy, their newfound liberation. Marcus stumbled back, watching his carefully constructed empire crumble. No. No. This isn't. It's over. The gray-eyed Council Alpha stepped forward, and Ava realized with shock that she'd been one of those controlled. Marcus Silvermoon, you stand accused of using forbidden magic to manipulate pack members, orchestrating the Lunar Crest massacre, and conspiring to murder a sitting Alpha's heir. The Council, or what's left of it that you haven't corrupted, finds you guilty. You can't, I'm Alpha of. You're nothing. Liam's voice was cold. I hereby claim the title of Silvermoon Alpha by right of challenge and blood. And my first act is to exile you from pack lands forever. Marcus's expression twisted with hatred. He lunged for Ava one final time. And Ethan's black wolf form hit him mid-leap. The fight was brief, brutal, and decisive. Ethan didn't kill Marcus, that wasn't necessary. He simply beat him into submission, forcing the older Alpha to yield in front of everyone. When it was over, Ethan shifted back and immediately went to Ava. She was fading fast now, the poison finally overwhelming even her Lunar Crest resilience. Ethan gathered her into his arms, his face twisted with anguish. No, 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 he breathed. Ava, stay with me. Please. We won. You won. You just have to hold on. Did we? Ava's smile was weak. Did it work? Look. Ethan turned her head gently. All across the amphitheater, wolves were celebrating. The remaining Council Alphas were stepping down, admitting their roles in the corruption. Pack leaders were talking excitedly about new systems, new ways of governing that didn't rely on fear and domination. You did it, Ethan whispered. You changed everything. Good. Ava's eyes drifted closed. That's good. Ava. Ethan's voice cracked. Through their bond, she felt his absolute terror. Don't you dare leave me. We're supposed to have forever, remember? We're supposed to. The pendant, June's voice cut through. Ethan, the pendant. It's still active, if you channel your mate bond through it, you might be able to. Ethan didn't wait for her to finish. He grabbed the pendant from Ava's limp hand, pressing it between their joined palms. The mate bond flared to life, stronger than Ava had ever felt it. She felt Ethan's love, his desperation, his absolute refusal to let her die. And she felt the pendant respond, recognizing true bonds versus corrupted ones. Power flooded through her, not the commanding kind she'd used to expose Marcus, but healing. Purifying. The kind of magic her mother had wielded to protect, not to control. The wolfsbane burned away like mist in sunlight. Ava gasped, her eyes flying open. Ethan? I've got you. His amber eyes were bright with tears. I've always got you. The amphitheater erupted in cheers. Ava looked around at the celebration, at the wolves who were finally free, at the system that was already beginning to change. She saw Maya crying happy tears, June smiling with satisfaction, Liam looking peaceful for the first time since she'd known him. And she saw Ethan, her mate, her partner, her future, looking at her like she'd hung the moon. So, she said, her voice still weak but getting stronger. What do we do now? Ethan's laugh was pure relief. Now? Now we rebuild. Together. He kissed her, and the crowd cheered louder. Marcus was led away in silver chains. The corrupted Council Alphas resigned their positions. And in the center of it all, Ava Moonshadow, last heir of Lunar Crest, destroyer of tyranny, and living proof that one wolf could change the world, stood with her mate and prepared to build something better. 3 months later. Ava stood at the edge of what used to be Lunar Crest territory, watching the sun rise over land that hadn't seen proper pack life in 20 years. The dens were being rebuilt, not as exact replicas of what had been destroyed, but as something new. Something better. Behind her, she could hear the sounds of construction, wolves from dozens of different packs working together to create the new Lunar Crest settlement. Not a traditional pack bound by bloodline and territory, but a coalition. A choice. Any wolf who wanted to join was welcome, regardless of their past or their rank. The only requirement was a commitment to the principles Elena Moonshadow had died for: unity, choice, and freedom from tyranny. "You're up early." Ethan's arms wrapped around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. "Couldn't sleep? Too much to think about." Ava leaned back into his warmth. They'd been officially mated for 2 months now, the ceremony attended by representatives from every pack in North America. It still felt surreal sometimes, being able to love him openly, without shame or secrets. "Want to talk about it?" Marcus escaped custody last week. The news had come through yesterday. Despite silver chains and constant guard, the former Council Alpha had somehow broken free. He's out there somewhere, probably gathering loyalists, planning revenge. Let him try. Ethan's voice held no fear. He's one wolf now, Ava. Not a Council Alpha with an army. And every pack on the continent knows what he did. He has nowhere to hide. Still. Ava turned in his arms to face him. "It feels unfinished. Some things are always unfinished." Ethan brushed a strand of hair from her face. "That's life. We stopped his immediate threat, freed hundreds of wolves from his control, and dismantled a corrupt system. That's enough for now." Before Ava could respond, Maya came running up the hill, her face flushed with excitement. "Ava. Ethan. You need to see this." She was practically bouncing. "June found something in the old Lunar Crest archives, you're not going to believe it." They followed Maya down to the main reconstruction site, where June had set up a makeshift research station. The elderly wolf looked up as they approached, her expression somewhere between shocked and delighted. "Tell me you found a cure for werewolf drama," Ava joked. "Better." June held up an ancient leather journal, its pages yellow with age. "I found your mother's personal diary. The one she kept in the months before the massacre." Ava's breath caught. She reached for the journal with trembling hands. "There's something in there you need to read," June said gently. The entry from 2 weeks before the attack. Ava opened to the marked page, her mother's familiar handwriting swimming before her eyes. She'd found a few of Elena's letters over the past months, enough to recognize the elegant script. But this was different. "My dearest Ava. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone and you've survived. It means you're strong enough, brave enough, smart enough to have made it this far. I'm so proud of you, my little wolf, even though I'll never get to tell you in person. There are things you need to know. Things I discovered about our bloodline that the Council would kill to keep secret. Your sister, little Luna, isn't dead. I know what the Council will tell everyone, but I managed to get her out the night before the attack. A trusted friend took her somewhere safe, somewhere the Council will never think to look. She's alive, Ava. Your baby sister is alive. I'm leaving you clues in this journal, places, names, contacts. Find her. Protect her. And together, rebuild what they tried to destroy. I love you, my darling girl. I'm sorry I won't be there to see the woman you become. But I know, I've always known, that you're meant for something extraordinary. Trust your heart. Trust your strength. And never, ever let them make you small. All my love, Mom." Ava couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Her sister was alive? "There's more," June said softly. Names of wolves who might know where Luna was taken. Places your mother had connections. It's not much, but it's a start. Ethan's hand found hers, grounding her. We'll find her, he said quietly. However long it takes. We? Ava looked up at him. You think I'd let you go on a quest to find your long-lost sister without me? His smile was crooked. Sweetheart, you're stuck with me. For better or worse, remember? I remember. Ava looked around at the wolves working on the reconstruction, at Maya practically vibrating with excitement, at June watching with satisfaction. But this could take years. And there's so much to do here. Which is why you're going to delegate. Nora's voice came from behind them. She'd been appointed as Lunar Crest's interim administrator while Ava was still figuring out how to lead. You've spent your whole life being told you're nobody. Maybe it's time you let yourself have an adventure that's just about you and your family. But the pack will be here when you get back. Nora's expression was firm. Ava, you've done the impossible. You've overthrown a corrupt council, exposed decades of manipulation, and started a movement that's changing pack culture across the continent. You're allowed to take time for yourself. She's right, Maya added. Plus, you have literal magic jewelry that lets you command wolves from anywhere. It's not like you're abandoning us. Ava looked down at the pendant around her neck, then at the journal in her hands. Her sister. Alive, somewhere, waiting to be found. Okay, she said softly. Then, louder, okay. We'll go. But only if. Yes, I'm coming too, Maya interrupted. Someone needs to keep you two lovebirds from being disgustingly cute 24/7. Plus, road trip. She paused. Also, I may have already started researching your mom's contacts and I'm pretty sure I know where to start looking. Despite everything, Ava laughed. Of course you did. Movement at the edge of the construction site drew her attention. Liam approached, looking healthier than he had in months. Being alpha of Silvermoon suited him, he stood taller now, more confident, like he'd finally found where he belonged. I heard the news, he said, stopping a respectful distance away. About your sister. Word travels fast. It's a small supernatural world. Liam's smile was gentle. I wanted to offer Silvermoon's resources for the search. Whatever you need, contacts, safe houses, information networks, it's yours. Thank you. The words came easily now. She and Liam had found a kind of peace over the past months. Not friendship, exactly, but mutual respect. Understanding. I also wanted to give you this. Liam held out a small wooden box. It belonged to your mother. She left it with my mother before the attack, asked her to keep it safe. My mom died before she could return it, but I found it in her personal effects. Ava opened the box with trembling fingers. Inside was a ring, silver, with intricate wolf designs, and a moonstone that seemed to glow with inner light. It's beautiful, she breathed. It's a Lunar Crest heirloom. Passed from alpha to heir for generations. Liam's expression was wistful. Your mother wanted you to have it. Wanted you to know you come from a long line of powerful, brave wolves who fought for what they believed in. Ava slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly, warming against her skin like it recognized her. I'm sorry, Liam said quietly. For everything. For the years I wasted, the pain I caused. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. We both deserved better, Ava said. But we learned from it. Grew from it. And now. She looked at Ethan, at the life they were building. Now I have exactly what I need. Liam nodded, accepting the closure. Be safe out there. And when you find Luna, bring her home. Lunar Crest needs its heirs. He left, walking back toward the Silvermoon delegation that had come to help with construction. Charlotte wasn't with them, she'd been exiled along with her father after their role in the council's corruption was exposed. Liam was engaged to someone new now, a wolf from his own pack who actually loved him for who he was. Everyone was healing. Moving forward. So, Ethan said, pulling Ava close. When do we leave? Tomorrow. Ava decided on the spot. I want one more night here, to see the progress, to make sure everything's set up properly. Then we go find my sister. Tomorrow it is. Ethan kissed her forehead. You know this is going to be dangerous, right? Your mother hid Luna for a reason. Whoever's protecting her won't just hand her over. I know. Ava's hand found the pendant. But I'm not the scared orphan anymore. I'm Alpha. And I'm bringing my family home. The next morning. They gathered at dawn, Ava, Ethan, and Maya, standing beside a truck loaded with supplies for the journey. Half the new Lunar Crest pack had come to see them off, along with delegations from Nightshade and Silvermoon. Nora pulled Ava aside for a final conversation. Your mother would be proud, she said. Of everything you've become, everything you've accomplished. I wish I could have known her better. Ava's throat tightened. I have so few memories. Then make new ones. Nora pressed a small package into her hands. With your sister. Build the family your mother dreamed of. And when you're ready, when you've found Luna and had time to just be sisters instead of alphas and heirs, come back and show us what Lunar Crest can really be. Ava hugged her fiercely. Thank you. For everything. For believing in me when no one else did. You made it easy. Nora pulled back with a smile. Now go. Adventure awaits. June approached next, carrying another journal. More of your mother's writings. Read them on the road, they'll help you understand where you came from. And maybe where you're going. Maya was already in the truck, practically bouncing in the passenger seat. Come on. We have a sister to find and I've got a whole playlist ready for the road trip. Ethan opened the driver's door, then paused to look back at the settlement. You okay? He asked Ava. Yeah. She took one last look at the land her mother had died protecting, that she'd fought to reclaim. The sun hit the new structures just right, making them glow golden in the early light. I'm exactly where I need to be. She climbed into the truck, Ethan following. As they drove away, Ava watched the settlement shrink in the rearview mirror, wolves waving goodbye. First stop? Maya asked, consulting her research notes. Montana. Ava pulled out her mother's journal, studying the clues. Mom mentions a wolf named Sarah Redfern who ran an orphanage for displaced pups. If she hid Luna anywhere, that's where we start. Montana it is. Ethan reached over to take her hand. Ready for this? Ava thought about everything she'd survived, the broken mate bond, the kidnapping, the council's attack, nearly dying from poison. She thought about the power she'd discovered, the love she'd found, the pack she'd rebuilt from ashes. And she thought about her sister, somewhere out there, waiting to be found. A piece of her family she'd thought lost forever. I'm ready, she said. Through the mate bond, she felt Ethan's love, steady and sure. In the passenger seat, Maya hummed along to her playlist, already planning their route. And in the distance, somewhere beyond the horizon, a future waited. Not the future Ava had imagined when she was Liam's secret mate, hiding in the shadows and making herself small. Not even the future she'd planned when she first learned about Lunar Crest and the Council's crimes. This was better. This was real. This was a future she'd fought for, bled for, nearly died for. A future where she wasn't just surviving, but thriving. Where love didn't require hiding. Where strength didn't require permission. Where the orphan girl who'd thought she was nobody became the alpha who changed everything. Hey, Maya said suddenly. I just realized something. If we find Luna, and she's anything like you, the world is going to have two Moonshadow sisters with alpha power and no patience for bullshit. Ethan groaned. The world isn't ready for that. Good. Ava grinned, feeling lighter than she had in years. Let's shake things up. As they drove into the sunrise, heading toward new adventures and unknown challenges, Ava touched the pendant at her throat, her mother's legacy, her family's power, her own strength made manifest. She'd survived the breaking of a mate bond. Discovered her true heritage. Overthrown a corrupt system. Found her true mate. And now she was going to find her sister and build the family she'd always deserved. The road stretched out before them, full of possibility. And Ava Moonshadow, once nobody, now alpha, always survivor, was ready for whatever came next. Together with the wolves who loved her, who believed in her, who'd chosen to stand by her side. The future belonged to them. And it was going to be extraordinary. The end. Thank you so much for joining me on Ava's journey. From broken mate bonds to discovering her true power, from heartbreak to finding real love with Ethan, this story had everything. Drop a comment and tell me, what was your favorite moment? Team Ethan, or did Liam's redemption win you over? And would you want to see Luna's story next? If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button. I've got so many more stories coming your way, more wolf shifter romance, more plot twists, more characters who'll break your heart and put it back together. And if you love this story, give it a like and share it with your friends who love supernatural romance. Until next time, my lovely pack. Keep howling at the moon.